Yeah.
Yeah, it's like utopia until you try to live in it.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking. My friend is visiting here, and they don't have any machinery that can calibrate the subjective experience. Yes,
No.
you can't weigh the meaning in your head. You can't weigh it. There's no scale.
Well,
There's no way to measure it. And mm.
I mean, why do you want to weigh it?
Well, I'm just saying that if you look at a situation and you see the parts of the situation that are heavy or whatever, it comes nowhere near the heaviness of the subjective mind of it.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's, yeah,
So
yeah, that
therefore,
goes.
you could drive through Bel Air, I mean, Beverly Hills, and think everyone's doing well.
Oh
And
no,
yeah, there could be an insane amount of
dude,
heaviness.
I got, I got, I love to share stories, but I got one about Bel Air that I'll save for another time. But those people, I know this, Paul, money does not make you happy. Things don't make you happy. Um, of course, they're nice to have. It's kind of like I think you were saying, creature comforts. There's nothing wrong with money. I think it's the love of money. It's the love of anything, right? But I mean, in and of itself, it's just neutral. It's just there. It's just energy. Yeah. I mean,
On that level. But yeah, see, we were talking about let's take the idea of being a doer. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
So that idea of being the doer comes with like a standardized amount of heaviness. Yeah. And that heaviness, how it gets translated by the system itself is, well, I'm going to change what I'm doing. I'm going to do this, but the doer stays the same. Yeah. And the doer has a almost like in a subjective experience, it has a weight it starts with already. Yes. It brings a heaviness to things, the doer, because then when something's happening to you, you don't think it should be happening to you because of the idea of you as a certain doer. Yeah. And on and on. So
Yeah, yeah.
most things are practical, like uh, skillful mean therapies and stuff. They're trying to change the meaning of the verb, so to speak. Less, eat less, stretch more, yeah, on and on and on. Yeah. Yet the verbs are being given meaning from the noun. And I feel if you lose interest in the noun, it's going to change the meaning the verb has for you. Yes?
Right, right, right. But you still want to stretch and eat right, blah, 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 whatever you want to
Course,
do. It's
of
cool.
course, if that's the case. But the thing is,
Yeah.
the head is using that as a strategy to sort of get better in another way that
Whose
becomes
head?
disease in itself. Yes?
Whose head, Paul?
Yeah.
Whose head?
Diseased in itself. Yeah. So you can see
Yeah,
how
yeah.
the
The
noun
song.
can be used to run
The,
away with the perfect look or something. And like
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember one lady got in touch with me and she was telling me she had spent like $300,000 on videos and shit non-duality. And she'd been up for 12 hours watching non-duality videos. And
But that was her seed assignment.
yeah. And I could hear her kids at the door trying
I
to
know,
talk
hungry.
her
Feed
out of
me.
it. It was a trip. So
But it's like live and let live, right? I think like that, in that case, it's extreme. We always can point to the extremes. But in her case, that's what she needed to do. Who knows where she's at now? But
see,
you
with
know
me,
what I mean?
to see with me, the case isn't about her. The case is
Yeah, yeah.
about pattern. That's why we share.
Right, 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 right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I don't care about the individual
Well,
trajectory. There's
I
this,
know, but we're all, yeah, I know what you're saying, Paul, but the song remains the same. Uh,
yes,
it's,
can't tell what emphasis is being given to the song. Yes. So it's just an interesting thing because it's the essence of dreaming is that uh like in Buddhism, they talk about emptiness, meaning that all the appearances are empty of a reality other than the one they're given by what's seeing them. Yes, so this emptiness of appearance, and that there's meaning being given. This is perfect descriptions of dreaming. Yeah. And so we have an application of dreaming because we wake up. So we call it the night dream, let's say. But as Ramana said, we're in the awake dream. Yeah. And here there doesn't seem to be a morning. So there's other ways to come to the conclusion. Yeah. I mean, doesn't it add up to something after a while? Doesn't it add up to something that you recognize in, let's say, one or two incidences that you gave everything all the meaning it has? Doesn't it expand after a while and not kept as, oh, that was just a phenomena, that's just an unusual occasion, but then you see the principle in it, yeah. So you have a comparison that's beautifully available, which is the dream at night. Yeah. And what happens to the dream at night and all the meaning and all the value it may have had or not had when you wake up? What happens? A drastic change happens to the dream at night.
Paul, that's like this is what I believe today is that like when I'm dead, if I could ever look back at this life, of course, it's a dream. It'll seem like a weird dream. And that's basically what's happening. But in the dream, I'm choosing to dream myself into a better dream minute by minute.
Well, I would
Good
say
luck.
not choosing, but yeah.
Yes,
I would say that which you hope to be at the end can be had now. Yes.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's good.
You can't get out of it.
That's good. All right. Well, let's open up the meeting. Yeah. Michael Stacy, are you the helmsman?
Yes, we're streaming live right now, Paul. So
Yeah.
you
Well,
got it. You're good to go.
all right. Thank you. And how is everybody? All right. Yes. Mr. Bitterman, we kept a seat for you every day. Don't worry, we made a seat for you. Dinner, lunch, and the talk. Let me say, David Lowe. How are you, David Lowe? And lovely Claire from Sydney, and Raven, John, Florida, Kerry, Hawaii, Michael Stacy, the man of Madeira, Miak, you can barely see her, but she's there. On Having Never Left, Miss Harris, thank you for all the support. Alan Olson, Annette, New York. Annette got caught up in the spell of Zen Bitch Lab. She was driving me all around, all around, getting tickets in New York City. uh, it's a wonderful life. Yeah. Yeah. So anyone have any questions they'd like to ask, or?
Hold on a second. David Bitterman has his hand up. Let me find him and unmute him.
Vitamin, yes.
We're having to unmute people because we've had some issues in the past, so bear with us. There you go, David.
What is people have been Zoom bombing? Oh yeah.
Yeah, and posting inappropriate behavior, and we're streaming live, so we really can't do that. So
Yeah.
We don't want to get in trouble with YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were putting clothes on. No, it was the opposite. Yes. All right.
Yeah. So now the host will have to unmute people. People can't unmute themselves. Yeah.
All right. Good. All right, Mr. B.
Oh no. Yeah. Hey. No. Thank you. I was so wish I could have been there with you guys. I missed Brenda Lee's and the boathouse and just hanging out and all the fellowship. So. What I was gonna say, you were talking about the dreaming, and when I was a kid, I was super into dream research, and I got involved with like lucid dreaming and the Lucidity Institute out in Stanford, which are the ones that scientifically validated the phenomena. And it kind of revolutionized the world of sleep and dream research because now they could validly have people do experiments inside the dream state and things like that, you know. But I didn't realize until later in life how powerful some of those experiences would be, because the reason that we experience dreams as dream-like is because they're always experienced as memories. When we awake, we remember, and maybe we felt like we were just there, but there's still a gap. And so when we were thinking about the dream, there are always a memory. So like if you think about the breakfast you ate today, that's dreamlike because it's basically a thought or an image, right, in the mind. But when you really cultivate lucidity, and there are techniques, you can have a spontaneous lucid dream where you realize, hey, I'm dreaming, but usually within almost a nanosecond, the dreaming takes back the system. And so even though you had that momentary realization, it was momentary and you're back in the dream, you know. But when you cultivate it, I mean, you're inside the dream, and it is as physically real and hard and solid as this place, even though you know that it's inside, you know, that you're in a world of your own creation. And there was this German researcher, Paul Tholey, who was one of the early guys who looked at it, and he was so amazed. He like took a ceramic plate inside the dream off his shelf and smashed it, and was looking at all the cracks and crevices in the plate, just marveling that his own mind could create such detail and richness and vividness. And I didn't know, you know, how, but at a root level, that really unlocked something for me that I wouldn't understand until much later, which is that the consciousness is entirely capable of producing a seemingly external world with separate objects that feel and appear hard and solid, you know? And I know that Tibetans and some other people have used those practices like for these kind of purposes. But I wish there was an easy way to like, you know, have everybody have that experience. But it just understanding what I understand now, it provided a basis to which I can become very clear about the fact that consciousness can create you know, a seeming world, seeming people, seeming separation. So I just kind of wanted to share that because the dream thing sometimes is lost on people, but I think it's really, I mean, not lost on people, it's a concept, but because our dreams are always experienced as memories. But when you think about yesterday, it seems pretty dreamlike, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we're having a memory now.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we're not, but the action figure is redoing and rethinking and refeeling everything. The
Mm-hmm.
action figure's present moment response is of memory.
Yeah.
So therefore, it sees only the past, as it
Mm-hmm.
says in the Course in Miracle. If you have a Course in Miracles, just read the first 7 lessons, I think,
Uh,
first 6, and then the 7th explains the first 6. So it says it's because we see only the past that nothing we see has any meaning and all this. So it goes on and on. So basically, where I start is a delay in time.
right.
And if anything has anything to do with the eye, and the eye's trying to arrive somewhere, it's arriving somewhere and only can get and start and leave at the same time after.
Sure.
So this is so the idea that to me the really great value of seeing it's a dream is to seeing that you're a dreamt, yes,
Right.
and
Yes.
therefore you're not, yeah. So by letting it hit you that you're the dreamt leads to recognizing you're not.
Yeah.
When we keep trying to deny the dreamt and think we're the one living and doing this, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we are then what the Course would say, we are the active denial of what we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. It turns out that we being involved, being super interested in finding out what we are is the active denial of what we are. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
And then,
absolutely.
while that's going on, firm in faith in this something else the head has made to be ourselves. See, that's the whole point. Yes, that's like the starting point. Yeah. So
Yes.
I would say if I found myself in the dream, I would ask, who's Paul, not anything else.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think that's the fascinating thing too, because you know the tiger's chasing you, but like once you realize you're dreaming, you're very aware that that seeming body is not your act. You know, there's no fear there because you know it's not your body. But then when the action figure wakes up, what typically would happen is, oh, but this is my real body. You know,
Well, yeah, because you don't wake up.
you just step
Wake up
into a new.
in the awakened dream. That's
Yes, exactly.
the
Yeah,
awakened dream and the seeming the dream at night are of the same cloth. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
So you think you wake up from one, but you're not waking up from the other.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that, yes.
Yeah.
That woman that you've mentioned before, the one who wrote The Wisdom of No Escape, Pema Chodron was her name.
I
And,
think
you know,
No Escape was there before her, that statement.
was it The Wisdom of No Escape? So it preceded her. Okay. And she was a student of, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche's. I only bring it up because recently she had a book, it was called something like How We Live is How We Die. It was a book on death, but someone else who had read it before, I just saw it in a bookstore and they were talking to me and they said, it's actually not what you think. It's talking about the Bardo realms in the Tibetan, so that's like the dream state that one goes through after death. But she said, it's talking about how this is also a Bardo realm,
Well, yeah.
and yeah. So it was
Bardo realm has a
interesting.
lot of bars. That should have told you something. Yeah. There's a lot
Yeah.
of bars in the Bardo left.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Who
but
knows? All you want to
yeah,
know is really who knows. Just stay there.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
lose interest in this eating interest machine, lose interest and see where it takes you.
for
But
sure.
uh, you'll be surprised about what topics you held dear that there'll be a loss of interest in.
Sure.
Yeah,
No, just I only wanted to bring up the dreaming just because it's
works with you.
yeah,
That's the beauty of it. Just
exactly.
like I bring up certain statements, not because they're great statements, but they triggered an avalanche. So therefore, I remember them by the effect, not the words. Yeah. And
Yes,
I
yeah,
find great value in them because to me they've captured a whole lot in a very little bit of saying. Yeah. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So the
yeah,
dreaming thing is I was just, you're meeting people and in recovery they talk about the problem resides in the mind. So it's really affecting the subjective experience. Yeah. And
mhm,
putting it way out of proportion or changing it. And there's no way you can register that or weigh it or note it. It's just it's really incredible. We can weigh an atom to its tiniest whatever degree, but there's no capturing or measuring the subjective event. It's mind-boggling, eh?
for sure. Definitely
Yeah,
mind-boggling.
it is. So, and also the this you and I give everything all the meaning it has really inhibits a lot of communication, obviously.
Mm,
Because when you say something, it's very rare. I don't think it's ever heard as
mhm,
said. It's heard as it was received. Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
So the subjective experience gobbles up a subjective uh comment. It just swallows it all.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
seeing all this uh it's like the idea that this something else that has been made to be ourselves is now trusted with being our guide, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna lead us to the promised land and stuff like that, and it's fucking blind. Not only that, it doesn't want to admit it's blind. So it's blaming it on the lights and everything like that. So I don't
Facts.
know. I like going these things, but I remember I can only see over the curb of the dog shit awareness.
For
Yeah,
sure. For sure. For sure.
basically. So, like
Yeah.
Ramana said about when they were questioning in this one little booklet I had, where you don't know how many, you probably do, if you've been around satsang, how many times the question of free will and predetermination is asked or
Mm-hmm.
gone into and stuff. It's very, very interesting topic to the individual. And
Yeah.
then Ramana would hear that and say, well, and it's such a beautiful, this is why I use it. It's such a beautiful way of explaining the meaning given to free will, the idea of free will. And he says, if there is a sense of individuality, he's not saying if there's an individual. Yeah, and we believe the only thing that could produce a sense of individuality would be an individual. But the individual is implied by the sense of individuality. Yeah.
Yeah.
We picture the individual. We make up the individual from the sense of individuality. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
picture that sense and it's seen as us, as this body.
Yep.
There's not a body and then something happens. Something happens and then there's the appearance of the body in this thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's this appearance in the body. And so he said simply, and this was a very slick question. He says, is there predetermination or free will, or is there free will and predetermination, which was a slicky move. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were probably getting comfortable in the cushion to go into about a 5-hour discussion on this point. But he just backed the car and turned it around. And he says, if there's a sense of individuality, there'll be a sense of free will. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sense of individuality cannot live. It's a pair. The sense of individuality comes with the sense of free will. It
Right.
doesn't. So, and obviously that which is asking the question is the sense of individuality. Yeah. To sort of
Yes.
be like Dracula going on the vampire hunts. Yeah. So now he says, so basically, where would you look at then? You would just go, is there an individual in, you don't say there is no sense, there's no individual sense, because there is. It's made up or implied, but there is no individual. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you look back and if you see there is no individual, and the sense of individuality will be still secreted, but you will have an understanding that that doesn't make it so, then you lose interest in the topic of free will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You do completely. I did anyway, because it was obvious. I saw people in Australia doing 7-day free will seminars. Yeah. And I bet you if you took them on the 8th day to Baskin Robbins and they had those 28 choices, they would feel like they had free will. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they would be reconvinced like that. And the 8th day of controlled whatever would have been washed away. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, check out the sense of individuality because it also puts out the sense of free will.
Yeah.
Okay. Why argue with that? You're trying to have one without the other. You can't. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just see, and this doesn't mean you stop having the sense of individuality. No, that's still produced, but you're not putting yourself in that suit. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's
That's
good.
cool. That is it. And he says the only value any of these questions have is to point towards the individual, the sense of individuality, really.
Right.
That's the whole, all of the meaning. If you were a verb, the meaning that you would be carrying around would be much lighter than a noun, obviously. The idea of being a noun, a stationary, long-lasting, independent, separate entity, comes with a standardized heaviness and so it tries to do a lot of verb to feel like a verb. Really, yeah. So you do more big wave surfing, more. Now you jump off a cliff with a engine on a kite and whatever. It's just more and more and more verbing, faster, bigger, larger verbing. Yeah, but not seeing that all of that is reinforcing the noun. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or to get some relief from it or
So
whatever, or the idea.
I'll tell you, if there was an identification as a surfer and you were in a group of surfers and then a big wave surfer came, he or she would seem to be bigger, better than the other surfers. Yeah.
Sure.
Because he did more verbs. He wrote an 80-foot wave instead of a 20-foot wave.
Oh, yeah.
The noun carries a certain weight, and to the point where you want to do lighter things. You want to live lighter and all like this because there's this heaviness being dragged. Why not get before the doer, before the noun, and see that you're not, and you may find that you're a verb which has a built-in lightness to it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you will feel it. You will not produce the effect of traveling lighter. You will observe the effect of traveling lighter. Yeah. And it's so much more efficient. Instead of trying to change the verbs to fit around the noun, see you're not the noun. And maybe you'll swim with the verbs. Yeah, you'll travel lighter through this event. Yeah. Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah. Very much so.
Come on, whatever. But the thing is, a lot of these things I hear people doing, they seem to come out of it in a long-lasting, independent, separate way. What's the point then? What's the point to blow my mind if I still believe I'm the one who has the mind? I'd much rather lose interest in the one who has the mind and keep my mind simple. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Like in a state of I don't know would be great. Yes.
Oh, yes. It's the
I
highest.
think it's much more efficient than I mean, you're not going to change the word of the verbs. You cannot always be doing exciting fucking shit. Yes.
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 Not in.
I feel great when I'm flying, but you can't fly all the time. I'm great when I'm swimming. We can't swim all the time. Why not see? Maybe you'll feel great if you're not the swimmer and you're not the flyer. It doesn't mean you stop flying, you stop swimming. You're just not the owner of it. You're not the doer of it. It's the greatest relief of all. I mean, the heaviness is the noun itself. The noun itself is the heaviness.
The crown of the noun.
Yeah, it's in sound. Yeah. It's heavy and tinny, and it'll make you do sinny.
Oh, man.
So
New York turned you into a rapper.
New York. Oh, man. We went to a great luncheonette. It's so great when the waitress puts their hand on your shoulder. That doesn't happen. That would be a lawsuit in Marin County. She said,
man.
"Okay, darling," and she had a hand on me and said, "What do you think you want?" And it was great. It was like,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, it's they had paper. They wrote the thing out.
Yeah.
It was cool. And then we wanted to leave a tip for her, and she was leaving. She says, "Don't worry, give it to the next lady." That was pretty cool.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. It was blew Amelia. I took her through Long Island. It was a trip. We went to where I got run over twice.
Ooh. Wow.
Seemingly, the action figure.
Yes, correct.
And the building, the bar that was there, it's something else, and the title of the company starts with Paul.
No way.
It said Paul Joint Repair.
You got it.
I
For
thought,
real? That's
no,
hilarious.
it didn't, but it was Paul
Okay.
something. It
Paul
was fucking
something.
hilarious.
That
Yeah.
is funny. Well, I'm glad you guys had a good time. Hopefully I can make it next round for
We were
sure.
gonna show her where all the places I got arrested, but we didn't have enough time. It would have taken 2 days.
Maybe a tour.
And then we were there. We're going to a diner, and who walks in? Like 6 cops right after us.
Oh boy.
It was amazing. The
Yeah.
trauma was ready to blow.
Yeah.
It
New
was
York had a
cool.
few hooks for you. Yeah. That's
No,
funny.
it
No,
was
just to
funny
play
to
with you a little.
watch it. Yeah. Oh
Thank you.
yes. All right. Anyone
Thank you,
want
bunch.
to share?
Yeah, Paul. David Lowe has his hand up. Let me have him
David
unmute.
Lowe. All
Yeah.
right, David.
Asking David to unmute. David, are you there?
I think he's trying. David, if you can hear me, unmute. He may have went into a trance. Excuse us, David is not with us right now. He's offline.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Into samadhi. We're gonna spread the word. Someone entered samadhi at the Zoom on Tuesday. We'll get some
Extra audience.
we'll get some more audience. What square was he in? He was the top left square.
Yeah.
Who was he near? It was right above Michael Stacy. All right.
Yeah. It seems to know.
I think he went out. I hope, yeah. Yeah. I hope that happens to every person who asks a question. The machinery stops. All right. Anyone else?
No, we have no other hands up right now, Paul.
All right. Well, if you were, let's say there's a bowl of verbing going on, yeah? And then you plop a noun into it. What's the first thing that happens with the noun? It gives direction to all the verbing, yeah? It sees the verbs that seem to be coming at it or away, yes? It gives an incredible amount of meaning to the verb before it even starts giving meaning to the verb. So the noun, it's not the doing, it's the idea of the doer that's holding the weight, yes? And if you love Buddha, I think he said this, events happen, deeds are done, but there's no individual doer thereof. Yeah. Now, something's going to feel like an individual doer. Yeah. Don't waste, I wouldn't waste time trying to convince it otherwise. It is the program talking to you as you. Yeah. If you can not stop there and drink the Kool-Aid and just go back a little farther and see you're not that, you may find the relief that was looking for. You may find the relief because the relief it was looking for itself is from itself. Yes. And not to is not just a statement. It's describing the dance in a way. Yeah. Not to. So that which is observed and was called the old you, and that which has claimed the observing and is now presented as the observer, as the new you, both of them are not you. Yeah? If you get in the habit of falling back and seeing both as the same thing in a sense, you don't have to, it's just going to happen. Because if you stop at one, you're gonna have new kinds of orders. It's gonna be like exactly the same as the other, but slicker in a way. You'll have new orders that you don't feel like you can fulfill, and it's gonna be a sense of, it's gonna be a burden instead of a relief, yeah. And it'll have to turn into a freaking practice sooner or later. But if you see the first and then watch the reaction to it, and see it being called you as the observer, I believe that is the dance of not to, yeah, that we do in our own little theater. I don't think you don't make it a fucking program or a habit or anything. It's going to lead you to a seeing of things that are going to do what you thought or you would hope that your understanding would or your intellect would. It will do that which those things cannot do. Yes? There will be no one who finds the relief. There'll be relief from a no one. Yeah. Yeah. And then the fear that's presented, will this last? What do I have to do? Is not of you. Yeah. And it's a condition that you stay disarmed. When the draft calls you, you don't go. When the war, you don't go. There's a disarming. Yeah. And I feel that's where the faith that Nisargadatta spoke about comes to the surface. You feel like you've been convinced of what you've heard in satsang. You feel like it's true. You feel your first response to it that one day, which was an aha, was before you started. Yeah. That aha that happens in non-duality, and that German Shepherd thing with the head happens. That before is what you rely on. Yes? Yeah. And faith can move mountains. And it can definitely disappear what appears. It can. Even though the appearance will continue, the reality of it will disappear. Yes? Yes. And you'll just travel lighter. You'll have a better day. That's like my grandmother in New York. You'll have a better day. Yeah. You ought to drink more water, Paulie. Yeah, you ought to drink more water. Yeah. What more do you want as the action figure? And what wants is the action figure. You know that, yes? What wants is the action figure. You do not have a longing soul. You don't have a yearning soul. You don't. It's all of the imagination. Yeah. What you are doesn't want because it already is. Yeah. It's all, if you believed it was a process at any time, it's completed. Yeah. Ding. Like the first book, Escape to Everywhere. How are you going to escape to everywhere? Yeah. And here, we have this water fountain going, the wind's a little up. Isn't it nice just to be present to the event that's actually happening now? My thoughts have been sent around the corner for an hour or so. Yeah. I'm not getting any bulletins, although my higher power just walked in, Amelia. My back went up straighter, and yeah, that reaction just happened. So, yeah, you must have felt relief. You wouldn't come here just to see me, obviously. There's something happening. Why would you want to put any restraint or time or whatever or demands on that which doesn't ask for any demands? Yeah. And that which gets uncomfortable isn't you. You don't have to follow it and console it. Let it cry itself out. Yes? Don't put your arm around it. It's going to bite your hand. Just fucking let it go. Yeah? Oh, it's sad and lonely. Great. Let it feel itself. Yeah? Yeah. You'll be seeing it. And that seeing is going to reveal a whole lot to you. Yeah, a whole lot to you. And you're going to realize the emperor has no clothes. Yeah. It doesn't have to be seen naked. You just know it has no clothes. Yeah. Yeah. So anyone else like the Aubrey, you're like you're in a strange thing. You're going sideways. It's pretty cool. Like everyone else is head north, feet south. You're going east west. That's cool.
I think it's because I don't really know how to work Zoom very well. It's not for any cool
Well, you're
purpose. I
standing
just
out. And
You're
this,
in my laundry basket right now. That's what's happening, is I'm trying to find a spot to
all right, all right. It's
yeah.
pretty good. You stand out like a thumb,
Oh,
if
that's
anyone's
funny.
going this way, I like this. And I know I don't see a couch underneath it's
No,
yes,
I'm in my bedroom, yeah.
very cool. Well, welcome.
Um,
Nice to
Thank
see you.
you.
Yeah.
I guess while I'm unmuted, um, I my dad always used to tell me, because psychologically, it's just I don't have addiction necessarily, but I mean obsessive, just kind of horrible mental suffering, and my whole life. And my dad has always been like, "You'll like your suffering is grace," and I wanted to just like punch him in the face. I was like, "What do you this? That's not." um, but I mean, I listened to a video of yours the other day, and I've listened to you on and off maybe for like a couple years now. But it finally settled in. Like, thank God, I got so sick of that back and forth that I finally just let it go. And I see it now as that. So thank you for your videos. It finally clicked. I was like, oh, I'm not going to fix the problem as the problem. I have to step out of it. So yeah.
Yes. The problem may be as it may be doing great, not being fixed.
Right. I'm not managerial quality like you, like
Right.
you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That urge to fix the problem may be a foreign direction. Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's great. Well, nice to see you
Thank
vertically,
you.
horizontally.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Yes. You're welcome. Anyone else?
No hands up, Paul.
I must need this the most because I've been at a lot of Paul Hedderman talks. There's been 3 today already. I must be thicker than most. This is sort of like a jacuzzi without the water to me. Satsang, really. It's like I get the sense of refreshment cold the water does when I'm hot, but without the need for a towel or anything. It's pretty good, very efficient. And in this, it's a public bathing. We all can bathe together, and yeah, we try to capture it in recovery. It's a tradition, and we call it the second tradition of 12. And it says a loving presence or a higher power is going to express itself through our group conscience. Isn't that what satsang is? See? Yeah. Yeah. So you feel something that is larger than the sum of all of the individuals. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's pretty cool. John K., do you want to bring up that thing again? We have a few minutes. I'm obligated to speak to 5:30. That's my contract.
What?
Zen
Steve,
Lab Corporation.
hey, Paul, Steve just put his hand up if we want to
All
field
right.
a question.
Well, we'll have Steve and then John, yeah, if we can.
Okay, asking Steve to unmute. There you go.
Okay, hold on. Let me put on my camera here for a second, if I can figure this out. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. So I can't figure out how to put on my camera, but I just kind of had maybe not a question, but kind of just a, there we go. I'm on the phone, honey. Sorry. So I guess just in my in my experience, especially as of lately, you know, I've really kind of thought about what you said with the self that can't get out of self. And it still seems like sometimes the self likes to circle and circle and look for ways out of the self.
Oh, most definitely.
And it's almost, it's like comical. It's like watching a movie or a character, at least in my experience, like run the rat race or try to figure out how to how to get back, I guess, back into self, but you've never left the self. And I don't know. I guess a lot of times to me it's funny, but sometimes it's almost comical, or other times it could actually be kind of sad, watching the self just do its thing.
But underlying that, it's a fact. Self can't get out of self, but self doesn't think so. See, you're the one that whatever we are gets convinced. Self does not get convinced. Self cannot be convinced. Self can't get out of self. It can't. At my humble observation, in my own experience in life, this is what you get. You give up waiting for self to get out of self. Yes, you see you're not that, and it's obvious. No matter how many times it fails, it keeps on doing the same. Yes, and it's not AI. It's not growing into a new awareness. It's a program. Yes, so that which is being seemingly influenced by the program recognizes it. Self does. So you see that self can't get out of self. Yeah. And it can put an end to a lot of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. When I believed what self can't get out of self, all the while taking me to be Paul, I thought, Paul, this is such a nugget. Paul is going to use this to get out of self. But no, it doesn't work. It didn't work because Paul was AKA self, so to speak. Yes. So it was describing, I was seemingly the modus operandi. So it came to a conclusion at a certain point that made any attempt to convince it pointless. Yeah. That it can't get out of self. I just lost interest in it. Yeah. And as you say, it can seem comedic or almost like burlesque or slapstick comedy, because it's no matter how much evidence it's confronted with, it just says, but I just need to manage better or something. So yeah, you give up the ghost before the ghost does. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So anything more about, I just want to jump in with that because sometimes it sounds like we need that convincing. No, I mean, self can't be convinced. It's programmed. You can't change the programming, but we're convinced, first of all, that we're not that. And this is what gives you it's not like self gets space from itself. You get space from it. Yeah. And it's a two-ness. When you try to get uh, space from oneself, you're the other self in a way, getting the space. So you recognize that, and the first dance doesn't fool you, nor the second dance. And then basically the music changes. Yeah. Yeah. You hear differently. You see differently. You feel differently. Yeah. Yeah. But I feel it like in recovery, the community that was before us laid that one down because that's exactly what they observed. They got recovered, or they were in recovery from addiction, but they were still bonded to self, and they were bonded in this way. The self was still trying to get out of self, and that was the bondage while in supposedly recovery. Yes. It's quite wise. And they passed it on to us. Hopefully that we'd see it and just save a lot of time, literally. Yeah. You know, let's say tons of people give you advice about your horse, and it's just not riding well. And then someone finally says, "Hey, it's dead," and that's the convincer. Yeah, it explains everything. It explains why I haven't gone anywhere. It's dead. Yeah. What's going to be the next response? Probably getting off it. Yeah. Yeah. What happens to us when we think it's us that's dead, so we try to resuscitate, shoot it up, just keep it going. This is what happens in a large, if you look at recovery as a sociological movement, recovery is incredible because people have their bottoms and self is left to die. You stop resuscitating it. You stop trying to bring it back to life. You stop trying to rehab it or recuperate it or get it healthier. You actually get off the horse. Yeah. And unlike Ulysses, you don't look back when it starts screaming for you. Yeah. Because you've seen it's not you. And all the interest that was sucked into it because it was you got released. Yeah. And now wisdom appears. Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, I hope that helped with that, Steve. Yeah or no? Yes. Good. Good.
So we have a couple of hands up. We have Shane, Mike G,
Oh,
and
David
David
Lowe
Lowe.
has been resurrected from the dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was
we-
less than 3 days, too. Incredible.
Yeah. We're gonna have Shane come in right now. He's next on the queue.
All right. Bring in Shane.
He's
Thank you,
unmuted.
guys.
Thank
Can
you.
y'all hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Mike. I'm in Marathon, Florida. It's a small island in the Florida Keys. And we have a very small but very tight recovery community here. And a couple years ago, I heard one of your messages on YouTube, and it got through. For about 6 years, I'd been living under the angry identity of the policeman. And you know how that all plays out, just pretty much miserable 24/7 and can't figure out why, just keep trying to do more to finally become whatever, and it
Yeah.
got through just a little bit, but I saw that there's a different possibility. I could be free from it instead of free as it. And it took 6 months, a year. There was so much faith in the way I was doing things that it was almost painful to kind of let it go and admit that all that effort had been kind of wasted. But as you've kind of presented over time, the traveling lighter, the kind of disarming all the time, just disarm, 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 no matter what's going on, no matter what comes up, there's that the instant recognition, disarm, you're not going to do anything with this but make it worse. So you just kind of watch its movement all day through all walks of life in every situation, but it does get quieter. And where it used to scream, it's barely a murmur. And for me, it's been a couple years now, but those 2 years have done more for me than all of my years of seeking through drugs, through recovery, through spiritual seeking. AA got me so far, and it was wonderful, but they hit a wall there, and I could not figure out why. And the only solution I could come up with was more. So now begins the extreme spiritual, purifications and like everything you talk about. I mean, I unfortunately went down all those paths. What the last one for me was A Course in Miracles, and I know you and Mike both talk about that from time to time. And the kind of light that's been shined on that time in my life now, there's a little positive glimmer there, because A Course in Miracles is so, when the head gets a hold of that, man, it's got the ultimate baton to beat the shit out of you with, or the heck out of you with. And the way it looks now is that accelerated the speed at which I was going to finally recognize this thing wasn't me, because living underneath its policeman identity, armed with A Course in Miracles, which basically there's a statement in that book that'll say that basically shows I'm doing it wrong no matter what thought or what's going on with me. It could reference some part of that book and use it to beat me over the head with it, but it did get me to the willingness to see it differently. So I appreciate it from that angle. And our small community here, as I've been listening to you and finally disarmed And finally watching it, not trying to be free as it has slowly changed the nature of the way I share in the group. And it has drawn to me some sponsees that are open to this message. And it's very quiet. There's no fanfare with it, but it is slowly, being integrated with not just myself, but with our recovery community here. It's a beautiful thing, man. And I don't know, sometimes maybe you never know the effect of sharing your message and if it takes hold and how it forms up. But it brought me the relief that I never was going to find through the way I was going about it. And slowly it's bringing relief to others around me. So I just wanted to thank you, buddy.
Oh, great. Thank you, Shane. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I'm aware. I don't need to be aware of a lot. A little gives me the whole hit. So, yeah. I have great
Right
faith.
on.
I have great faith in the message itself, and then how it applies, not you applying it, but how it applies itself to the path of recovery. I think I do not see non-duality as a path of illumination, but I know it illuminates whatever path you're on. So it's very, very nice. So great. Sounds great. Happy for you. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
You have it by giving it away. That's the way to go. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
You made
Thank
my
you, Shane. Next up, we have Mike G. Mike G, asking you to unmute.
from San Clemente.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Hey, Paul.
how
Hey,
you doing?
good, man. Wow, I gotta say, Shane, that was cool, dude. The part you said about just don't get involved, you make it worse. It's so true. I mean, so true. I didn't really have a question. I was going to rebound off that dream stuff for fun. I was trying to raise my hand earlier, but I couldn't figure it out. I'm on my phone. But my on that dream stuff, my nephew, he's like one of these dudes. He could have been like written books. He could have, but he doesn't. On these guys that astral project and the experiences they have. He's had stuff happen to him, especially when he was younger, where he would go like beyond a lucid dream, and he could like create whole environments, not only environments but people, and he would create figures and characters instantly, and then he'd explain it to me as he would instantly program them with thought to have a conversation with them and then immediately disassociate that he had just done that. And then talk to the people like he'd be having a conversation with a stranger, but then also somewhat aware that he made the whole thing up. And I always thought that was fascinating because it so resonates with, well, the metaphysics of A Course in Miracles, not to mention. And then he had this one other experience that always blows my mind, where he said it's happened to him once or twice, and such an experience in the dream, in his night dreams, where he like went into a void and he literally couldn't hold on to anything. Like, not his exact quote was, if he could just hold on to the concept of something like a table leg, it would give him some kind of safety.
Yeah, an anchor. Yeah.
And I always thought that was mind blowing too, wherever his mind went on that trip. So yeah.
Well, there's a whole lot of dreaming can happen in dreaming. So you may become the master of the dreaming, all the while that's a dreaming. Yes, I don't think anyone steps out of the dreaming. I don't. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you, Mike. Very nice. David Lowe, you came back for us, David.
David asked you to unmute.
Yeah, sorry, I fell
That
asleep.
was your bodhisattva vow. You left, and then you realized someone had been left behind. So you made a promise that you're not going to leave until all of us
Yeah,
get to share on the Zoom.
yeah, we'll just leave people when you sleep. So there's a device that you often use, and somehow I'm not getting what you're trying to say with it. Uncle Fred, whatever animates the body leaves, and all you're left with is the body, right?
Yes.
So there's something about that. It's a subtle analogy or that you're trying to make to something, but whatever you're trying to communicate, I don't get it. There's
Oh,
something.
that's all right, bro. You will, but let me do it one more time. I get something, but I don't think it's that important because it's funny that we're calling the body many things, lavishing hours and hours of attention to it every day, this and that. And then when the true animation quality of it leaves, let's call it the spirit, now we're saddled with this fucking flesh bag and we don't know what to do with it. So they even chop it up or burn it or bury it. Yes. And so basically, thousands and thousands of hours of attention while animated. Yeah. Then it dies and we can't be rid of it fast enough. Yes. Isn't that
Okay.
seemingly funny? That sort of is a strange thing. People are looking at themselves for hours right now in this house. If one of the teenagers is here. Yeah. How long do you look at a corpse? Definitely not for hours. Yes. You see them and you see that wasn't them to begin with. That's a hit that's not that unusual. Yeah. So that's what I'm implying. Here you are completely occupied with it. Yeah. But as soon as the spirit seems to have vacated, it's there's there's absolutely no interest in it whatsoever, basically. The only interest in it is that it triggers remembering the animation, literally. Yes. Did you
Okay.
really love your uncle Kathy's hand? No, when she was like putting it on your shoulder when you're having a bad day, that's when you loved it. Yes, you're not like, oh, I'm gonna be forever fascinated about the wrinkles on his elbow. No, all of that was misdirected. The interest was to the animation. Yes,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
was the aspect of the action, not the figure. The figure got all this cred based on a misunderstanding. What we were noticing, this is why we had a meeting once at the church, and this very beautiful woman came, and you could see that she had work done, whatever. Yeah. Really dressed up, and everyone was checking her out. Then someone came with a little baby. They didn't look at the lady again. And the little baby was moving around, had no idea it was moving around because there was no noun yet. And
Yeah.
everyone was very, very attracted to that baby because it was absence of a noun. Yeah. So here, the animation, if we could get a skin moisturizer and put it on the animating quality, that would be direct perception. But we're putting moisture on the best moisturizer. I have $1 moisturizer that was better than any other moisturizer I ever had for this face. I got it at the dollar store. Now it's $1.25 by Dove. But here's people putting on every 4 hours a different moisturizer. They're trying to get to the animate. What they love is that animating quality. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Are you going to spend any money to put a moisturizer? The body's still there after death. Yes. Are you moisturizing the fucking body then? No. If you are, you're in a whole nother world of fetish. You're in the dark web and some weird websites, maybe. Yes, I always put Johnson and Johnson, whatever. Go insane. But this is what I was trying to apply. There's something there, isn't it? When you
Yes.
see a body without the life, it's not like when you see the body with the life. Is it? No. At best, it looks like a waxed figure. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. So what
Mhm.
we're attracted to isn't the freaking body. The body will disappoint. Gravity always wins. So, as radio said, it's just, but what's interesting is that the existence, yeah, and how it's moving and everything. But the misunderstanding of the existence being the body. Yeah. So a
Yeah,
lot
right.
of things go to the body. We want to keep maintaining life of the body when we're in eternal life as spirit. Yes. That's what I was trying to say about it.
I
Because
got you. Okay.
really,
Cool.
Uncle Fred left and there was a loss of interest in the body, but the body was still there. It's got to do something with it. And no one's spending a lot of money on it, pretty much.
Okay. I got you.
So that's what I was on that riff. I was trying to get that across. I think that's interesting. It's curious. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I
just
really believe uh,
you're pulling the lens
our
back.
attention is misdirected. Yeah. We, we, that which is worthy to be cherished gets misdirected and we cherish something that's going to go. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Something
Wow.
that's built to fail. Yeah. So I think a lot of things are misdirected. I do.
Okay.
I mean,
Got you.
people have, let's say, their best interest, and that turns into a disease. You're so interested in your health, you get sick. Yeah. So it's a weird mutation and magnification and misdirection. And if you could get the first piece of the game board at least facing the right way, I have a strong faith you're going to travel lighter through the game board. But if you have the boot facing the wrong way, it's going to be a tough slog. Yeah,
Wow.
I
Yeah.
think. So this is like, like in Zen, you'll see blue is blue and red is red. You'll see spirit as spirit and not as the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the things will be forgiven for all the stuff they were driven to do. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the
Wow.
spirit remains untouched. As the Course in Miracles says, we talked about it today. One of the lessons that stuck with me is your attack thoughts are attacking your invulnerability. So the attack is coming from thingness, and it's trying to attack you, hoping that you're taking yourself to be a thing, but your invulnerability is your spirit, let's say, yes? So the attack thoughts that will attack the thing, you're invulnerable to it because you're not a thing. Yes? It doesn't mean if you huff and puff, you'll make the thing invulnerable. Probably not. But your inherent condition is invulnerable to attack. Yeah? It's untouchable. This is the point. So you try to make the thing untouchable, it doesn't fucking work. Yes? But you see you're not the thing, and then you get a sense of what's untouchable. And it's not a thing. Everything is misdirected. Yes? We have the interest at heart, but the mental state's mutating it. Yes? So it turns into self-obsession. It's just insane. So, like it says, before enlightenment, cut wood, carry water. After enlightenment, cut wood and carry water. Yes, exactly. But now the direction is set and it's ringing true for you. Yes? It's ringing true. You feel like finally there's an alignment.
So yeah, doing weightlifting or whatever, or taking care of the skin and so forth, has no more significance than sweeping a floor or cleaning a sofa.
And
It's
it doesn't, and there's no badness in it or goodness in it. Yeah. It's good to maintain something that needs to be maintained. Yeah. But trying to maintain a spiritual condition when it's a spiritual condition is insane. How can you maintain a spiritual condition? What part of the spirit is out of condition? Does it have biceps? Does it have whatever those things in the ass muscles? There's nothing to maintain. Its nature is. I remember there was a slick commercial by BMW. I was younger, and he had a suave European guy speaking very elegantly, and it says it's virtually self-tuning, which means you're going to need a tune-up by a mechanic. Virtually means nothing. So it sounded like, oh, I'm never going to need to get a tune-up. No, you're going to get a tune-up. It's going to cost you a couple $1,000 because there's a BMW, but it's virtually self-tuning, which means it's not. Yes? So I don't know. I think that desire to maintain our spirit goes to the head and everything. Yes? Because the spirit doesn't need much. All it needs is a little attention, and it goes a long, 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 long way. Just the tiniest little bit of recognition can change a lot. Yes, it
So
doesn't need a lot.
you're making a distinction between all those thoughts and concerns and what's beyond the thoughts and concerns.
Or what the thoughts and concerns are about, because you may be having thoughts and concerns about that doesn't need any thoughts and concerns. So there's a caring of the spirit, but you think it's the body.
Nice.
Yes? The caring of the spirit would be different. It would be relaxed and it wouldn't be much, it's disarming. Yes? Yes. It's more something that is observed than done. Yeah. It's already functioning. It already is. You don't have to kick it. You don't have, there's no ignition switch. You don't have to fucking put fuel in it. Nothing. It's truly being. Yeah. What happens is that animation is being mistaken as that which is animated, the body. I
And
feel.
if you abuse yourself and hurt yourself and do all these awful things and eat terrible food and so forth, you're not even touching this unassailable thing that you're referring to
Exactly.
at all.
If you've seen the diets of some enlightened characters or something like that, they were pouring the sugar down and shit like that. They were smoking, it's all subjective. That's the thing. Yeah. I go to Italy. The Amelia's father lives in an apartment and there's about 8 90-year-old or older people in it. Yeah.
Right.
I'm telling you, they have not been eating paleo. Yeah, I'm swear they haven't. They're walking up the stairs. They're not taking the elevator. There's like 96 years old. She looks like she's like 55. She didn't, there was not one fitness book in her bag because I tried to steal it from her. I went through it. There was not a fitness thing in there. There wasn't dried nuts. It
Yeah.
was fucking another pasta recipe.
She lives on the Italian equivalent of a Big Macs or whatever.
She says, so, there's always going to be an exception because it's a dreaming. Yeah. You can't have an objective thing that works for everyone. It just doesn't go. Yeah. Because this is a meaning giving and a meaning feeling event. So what one man's poison is the other man's medicine. That's how it goes. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel eating with less interest, of everything else and being concentrated on eating, not as an effort, but as just because you're eating. That's what's happening. So you're engaged. The most important thing in my life is actually what's happening. So I'm eating, it's happening, and I'm engaged with that. Yeah. That's a very clean way to eat. Yeah. And you're going to travel, try to follow your eating recipe in Italy. You just forget about it. Forget about it. They'll break you down in the
I've been
second
there.
hour of lunch. You're just gonna fucking say, "Pass me the pasta," sooner or later. So,
Thank you,
but
bro.
we can.
Really.
I need to keep. I found the way the action figure does well, with a much less interest than I thought it would demand. Yeah. So, there are certain cars, if you put super, it doesn't run well. I'm in that thing. I'm just basic gas, the cheapest gas, it runs pretty good with. Yeah. If I put like premium, it would probably screw things up. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I'm just speaking from here. But I
Oh,
know that when my head took something to be important, it magnified. And when it magnifies stuff, shit mutates. Yeah. Because it puts a weird light on it that's refracted. It's not like sunlight, it's like a weird mental light. And it mutates whatever it is. So my desire to be healthy, taken over by the head, made me ill quite a lot. Yeah. You don't
yeah,
want to
getting more
walk around thinking about
self-appreciation.
how you feel in your small intestine all day. So these things I don't think are quirky phenomena. I see them as patterns of how the head works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a magnifier and an amplifier. It comes after, it's never been before. And when you think about anything, it's about.
Yeah.
The only way you can think is about. Yes. What you think. The only way the thoughts go is about something. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I see it, bro. And you know what? You are a lifelong member of Zen Bit Slap, David.
Cool. I'm
What you
honored.
got to do is fold your spiritual umbrella and get the little dog shit umbrella, which just is a little bit higher than the curb site level. And you'll find great sanctuary in there.
I was at a retreat just this last weekend. I met Paul Resendez. I think you might know. He's a tracker. He used to lead motorcycle gangs and everything.
Oh,
Uh,
oh
yeah,
yeah, I've heard of
famous.
him. Yeah,
Right.
but I don't know him. No.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, bro. David, thank you.
Yeah.
Everyone else, Aubrey, she is still, I like that. You're still pointing east.
Meryl has her hand up, Paul.
Who?
Meryl,
Bring Meryl in.
come
Yes.
on in, Meryl.
Class has been, anyone can go, but we're lucky to stay. So, Meryl, what's going on?
Okay. This is going back a little bit. Just maybe reminded me of it when you were talking about death and not being the body. I don't know if this speaks to you, it means anything to you. I don't even know what the words mean to me, but there was a really strong event reaction thing here several years ago. Somebody turned me onto some music, some CD, and I was playing it. And there's this one tune on there, and the lyrics would come on, and every time that these lyrics would come, I would fall to the ground. So dramatic. I would fall to the ground. It was and sobbing, like I'd never sobbed probably. So it was bizarre, like clockwork. Like I could know they were coming. I didn't know what they meant. I could know they were coming. They would come, and I'd be on the floor sob. It was just bizarre. Anyway, and the words were, "Don't be afraid. You're already dead." And it just makes me think of that when you talk about not being the body. I mean, and I've had a lot of peace with that now. That the tune is like part of the one part says, don't be afraid, it's only love. This is Akron family, if you care. And then don't be afraid, you're already dead. And it gave me a lot. I mean, the sobbing was peaceful though. It was so comforting, these words. So anyway, it was like I spent a lot of time worrying, you know. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but I think of that when I think about not being in a body, you know.
Yes, that's right. Well, that's again, honey, something works in you, and then a lot of things work.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. So whatever's going on looks for something to trigger itself.
I mean, I guess, because
Yes.
I was more of a mess before it and a little bit less of a mess after. Anyway, I really,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. Thanks.
It happens all the time. Seriously. I remember we were at a coffee shop after a meeting, and there was a newcomer with us, and we were talking, a bunch of us, and we were talking about this idea. And in the background, he didn't notice, but there was the Talking Heads song, "This is not my house, this is not my beautiful wife." And it was just perfect segue into the event that was happening in this coffee shop. It's beautiful. It's like you dialed up the perfect playlist song. Yeah, there's a stream of coincidences, almost like a one of the rings of Saturn that happen. Yeah, it's not your physical height, it's your other height, and you can be in that ring of coincidences, and they'll bring you a sense of an aha knowing quite a lot. Yes, yes. Yeah, it's not your physical height. You just reach out of this little idea, and then you're in that ring, and then coincidences become quite often. Yes, and then there's yeah, it's cool, very cool.
And because I didn't know what it meant, and I still don't honestly know what they meant. I don't know what it means, that those lyrics, but I knew that it made me feel, it was such a macabre thing to make me feel so peaceful.
Relief.
Yeah, so relieved. It was so much relief. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, honey, you may be a goth. You know what
Yeah.
you say. You never know. Sushi.
Never know.
Right. You may have to go that way.
Yeah, in the last couple of minutes, I'll go there now.
Bring out that black outfit, and yes, there you go. All right, thank you. Anyone else? Oh yeah, we have Stephen R.
Morning, Stephen.
Hey, Paul.
Hey.
Yeah, the death thing. When my father was in what is it where they put you in the hospital before you die?
Yeah, hospice.
Hospice.
Yes.
And I decided I was going to go tell him he could leave. You know, because he was in there for a couple days and he wasn't eating. You know, he couldn't eat or drink or anything, and he was hanging on. And I wanted to go tell him that he could leave. And I got a call, and my brother said the nurse called, and of course, he's dying. So I got there a few minutes after the spirit left.
Yeah.
And exactly the way it literally looked. It was beyond obvious. It looked like a cardboard cutout, and the animating presence was gone.
Yeah.
And it was so clear. So thanks for talking about that. The other thing I wanted to mention was your trip back east here. I saw two of your clips, and the negating when the observed and then negating the observer.
Yes.
You said that a bunch of times. I really appreciated that, because I've heard that a bunch of times, but this time I experienced it. There was still something there, and so that was awesome. But how was your trip? How'd you make? I saw the two of them, but how was Ventnor?
Ventnor was cool.
Cool.
Atlantic City was strange.
The what's that?
Atlantic City, it's right south of Atlantic City, was strange.
Yeah, that's there's nothing there except casinos and
Like an apocalyptic.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right.
It had
Yeah.
these weird big buildings, and then there was decay all around.
That's it. It's
And
like,
the energy was weird. We went to a Salvation Army. When we
okay.
were pulling up in the rear view mirror, I could see there was a little accident and they were fighting this woman on the street. We went into the Salvation Army, and then two big cops came in with the SWAT outfits looking for something else going on. And another couple that was with us went in at night and said like people were walking out in front of their car, like wanting to get hit, maybe for some insurance or something.
Yeah, who knows?
Strange, very strange. But Ventnor was really nice because it had it's difficult to whitewash the seaside space, yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I guess you could kill it if you put your mind to it, but it was shining through Ventnor. It was quite nice.
Good, good. I'm glad you liked it.
So I
Glad.
really liked it. I want to go back and have an electric bike for me because the boardwalks, I want to ride the boardwalks. They're very long and flat
Oh
and
yeah.
just looks great to me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
same thing with Long Island. This beach town I really liked, Point Lookout, when I grew up. You can't park there. There's no parking at all. And it was bothering me. Who is there to bother? Well, it was bothering the action figure. But I
Right.
decided, man, come here, park outside of it, have an electric bike, go all over the place. So I want to do a trip across country and bring the bikes with me. I hope.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
I hope you come down. I'm in Florida now. I hope you come down here. There's a couple of us. I see
Well,
John,
if
Shane are in Florida.
if John S. has asked me, we may pull it off.
All right.
You got to talk to John S., who's right underneath you in the Zoom.
I see him. Well, he's on the top right. And I see him.
Get
Yeah.
together and make me a deal, which is basically nothing. Just
Give him,
ask me to come.
give him an offer.
We'll deal with the specifics later.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
seriously.
I'll see you again soon.
Great. It's nice to see. I can't see you right now, but I'll see.
It's a little dark, but yeah, I got one light on here.
It's okay. I know who you are. And
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'll hook up with you. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Raven, nice to see you again. Thank you for the help. Yeah. Carrie, I know you're there, but you're not there. But if that's a beautiful fixture if it's from your porch. Stephen Mack, as always, on having never left. John S. in Florida. John S. would be sufficient enough to get me to Florida, but only on the Atlantic side. I don't want to go on the Gulf of Mexico side. Yeah. Stephen Mack, Aubrey, you switched around. Yes. You're now in the cosmic balance. Very good. David Lowe, you're a man of my heart, David. I'm looking out for you. That could be helpful or not, but I'm looking out for you. Miak, always a pleasure. Marl, yes. Marl, yes. Yes. Ernie, a little willingness goes a long way, Ernie. Yes. Yep. Mike G, my man in San Clemente. Oh, Kerry, he's actually at another location. Yeah. Always a pleasure to see Kerry. Steve, now I see you. Aubrey, I think I got everyone. I can't get to the other page anyway. Say thank you so much. The schedule is now the way it is. I think it's on there. The regular schedule is at play. We'll be here Wednesday night. If you're around here, we have people come over for dinner. So, and then Saturday, we also have a Zoom and a live. So people show up at the house. Okay.